Happy morning, dear students. Today's topic is congenital heart disease or congenital heart defects. The most common heart disease in children are congenital heart diseases and rheumatic fever with consequences. The congenital cardiac failure is a common pediatric emergency with its different etiology and other emergencies also is related with these conditions. But whenever we are identifying the early those clinical features, those children who are having congenital malformations, we will control or we will prevent the morbidity rates. Okay, let's move on to the introduction. Congenital heart disease or defects. CHD is one of the most common form of congenital anomalies. It involves the chambers, valves and great vessels arising from the heart. The most common group of structural malformation in children occurs in 8 per 1000 births. Okay, and in most cases the cause of congenital heart disease is not known. Some infants and children with congenital heart disease may appear perfectly healthy, whereas other may be critically ill. Most infants and children with congenital heart disease can be successfully managed with medications and surgeries. Okay, this is about the introduction of congenital heart disease. Before going to the conditions of congenital heart diseases, first all of you should know about fetal circulation. Here the knowledge about fetal circulation is absolutely necessary for proper understanding of congenital heart diseases. Here we will start with you know about what is placenta. This is about the fetal circulation. This image here, from the placenta, feet, here the what it is there, the placenta is having, look at here, the placenta. Here the placenta is having one vein and then two arteries. Okay, these two umbilical artery and then one vein is there. Okay, here the placenta. Okay, the fetus received oxygenated blood. How much means here the 80% of oxygenated blood from the placenta by umbilical vein. It is moving through 80% saturated blood, oxygenated blood through umbilical vein. It is moving from the placenta through umbilical vein. The umbilical vein carries the blood to the liver and give off branches to the left lobe. Okay, here the left lobe to supply the oxygenated blood and then receives the deoxygenated blood to the portal vein. Here the where the portal vein is there, here the portal vein, here it is receiving through here the this is the pulmonary vein through the portal vein. Here it is receiving the remaining deoxygenated blood. So what happened here, the umbilical vein blood bypasses the liver through the ductus venous. Here this is called as ductus venous. It is passed through the ductus venous and enter into the inferior vena cava. Here and here that blood is enter into the inferior vena cava, then to the right atrium. Okay, so here it enter into the right atrium of the heart. Okay, the inferior vena cava, here it also is containing blue color, it is there, no, so it is also is containing deoxygenated blood. So here that also is from where it is comes means the lower part of the body, the deoxygenated blood also is comes and enter into the right atrium. Okay, and here what happened, so there is a mixing of blood and reduction of the oxygen saturation is there. So here the both oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood both are enter into the right atrium. So here the some reduction of saturation is there, is happening. From the right atrium, here the from the right atrium 70% of oxygenated blood. One third of the inferior vena cava. Here one third of the inferior vena cava, and then returns to the left atrium here, and it is returning to the left atrium through the foramen lumen. Both the right atrium and left atrium, here the one layer is there, okay, that is called as foramen oven, okay. Here this is foramen oven, okay. Through that, here the blood is going to right atrium to the left atrium, okay, and there it is mixing both through the foramen oven, okay. That is about ventricles. And coming to the atrium, here the right atrium, okay. Atrium, there is a mixing of blood receiving from the right atrium. Here the both blue color and pink color it is there now, so both is mixing together here. Whenever what happens, the small amount of venous blood returns to the lungs. These are the pulmonary artery, okay. Here the small amount of the blood is enter into the lungs through the pulmonary veins from the left atrium, okay. So the blood of the left ventricles, which pumps into the ascending aorta arch of the aorta. So the supply, whenever the aorta pumping the through the ascending aorta, what happened, the blood is pumping through the heart, neck, and then upper extremities, okay. So the right ventricle blood is pumps into the pulmonary trunk. Here the whenever the ventricle contraction, the right ventricle blood pumps into the where it is pumping into the pulmonary trunk, and small amount of the blood enter into the pulmonary circulation, okay. The major portion of the blood forms to the right ventricle via the pulmonary trunk bypass, okay. Here the deoxygenated blood leaves the fetus by 2/3 of the umbilical artery. Here the deoxygenated blood, it is leaves 2/3 of the through the umbilical artery. Here the two arteries is there, no, everything this blue color is containing with the deoxygenated blood and enter into this back placenta, okay. This is descending aorta, this is the descending aorta, this is the pulmonary artery, okay. Through the pulmonary artery, the descending aorta, and then it is connected, the deoxygenated blood is connected in this, and then enter into the through the umbilical artery and enter into the placenta, okay. This is about the fetal circulation. Here the fetus is have fetal circulation. In that, what are the main points is there? First one is ductus venous. Here the ductus venous, here the oxygenated blood, 80% of the saturated oxygenated blood enter into the ductus venous, and then foramen oven. Here the foramen oven, there is a layer between the right atrium and the left atrium. One layer it is there, okay, one chamber, that is called as foramen oven. Through that it is moving, that blood is moving. And next one is ductus arteriosus. Here the ductus through the ductus arteriosus, the deoxygenated blood is enter into the umbilical arteries and return to the placenta, okay. These are the main important points in the fetal circulation, okay. Before that, starting of congenital heart disease, you should know about what is fetal circulation, okay. All of you clear? This is about the fetal circulation. Next, coming to the etiology and then incidence. Congenital heart diseases affects 8 to 12 of every 1,000 neonates. Exact cause of congenital heart disease is unknown, but 90% of cases mostly affect with this. The heart begins a single cell and develops into a 4 chambers pumping system during the 3rd to 8th week of the gestational age. During the 3rd and then 8th week of the gestational age, the heart is began to grown up, okay. This is about the incidence. Here associated factors of the congenital heart diseases, including what are the associative factors. The mainly causes is there, that is a fetal or maternal infections during the first trimester, mostly torch infections, and that is rubella is most common causes of congenital heart diseases. And next one is chromosomal abnormalities, that is the trisomy 21, 18 and 13 Down syndrome babies, they are having heart diseases also. Okay, next one is maternal insulin dependent diabetes. Here the IDDM conditions, whose mother is having this IDDM conditions, those also is having, those babies also is having congenital heart diseases. And next one is teratogenic effects of the drugs and alcohol. Some drugs and exposure to the radiation, that also one of the cause of associated factors for the congenital heart diseases. Okay, next coming to the syndrome that including the congenital heart diseases. Some syndromes is associated with this, the congenital malformations or congenital heart diseases. What are the syndromes is there? First one is Marfan syndrome, second one is tunnel syndrome, third one is Noen syndromes, fourth one is Williams syndrome, fifth one is Dye-George syndrome, sixth one is Down syndrome. These are the syndromes that include the congenital heart diseases. We will discuss one by one. First one is Marfan syndrome. That is because of Marfan syndrome, what are the congenital malformation is present? That is mitral valve prolapse. Okay, and dilated aortic root also is there. So that also is present because of Marfan syndrome. Okay, because of tunnel syndrome, which condition is present? Congenital heart disease is aortic valve stenosis, that is AVS, and coartication of the aorta, COA, is present. These two conditions are most commonly associated with the child with tunnel syndrome. And next one is Noonan syndrome. Here the because of the Noonan syndrome, what are the clinic and congenital heart diseases is affect means dysplastic pulmonary valve conditions is present. Next syndrome is Williams syndrome. Here the because of the Williams syndrome, child is suffered with the supravalvular pulmonary stenosis, that is pulmonary stenosis is appear. Okay, this is a cyanotic heart disease. So child is suffering with this. And next one is the Dye-George syndrome. Because of child is suffered with this Dye-George syndromes, the congenital heart diseases are IAA, means interrupted aortic arch. Okay, and then truncus arteriosus and transposition of great arteriosus also is there, and then tetralogy of palate. These are the conditions most commonly seen in the child suffered with the Dye-George syndrome conditions. And finally Down syndrome. You know about this Down syndrome. This is a chromosomal abnormality, that is trisomy 21. Because of that affects what are the congenital heart diseases are means atrioventricular canal defects, AVD. Okay, and then ventricular septal defects also is present, and about 50% of children with Down syndrome has a congenital heart diseases. Okay, these are the syndromes are associated with the congenital heart diseases. Okay, next one is circulatory changes at birth. Some circulatory changes is happening during the birth, immediate after. I said no, in the fetal circulation what happened, it is not normal heart circulation. Okay, but fetal circulation is different. Here through the placenta, the oxygenated blood is enter into the portal vein, umbilical vein, and enter into the atriums via the ductus venous. What happened here, after delivery some drastic changes will be there, because the umbilical when the umbilical cord is clamped, the blood supply of the placenta is cut off, and oxygenation must taken place in the infant's lung. Before that, what happened, through the placenta the oxygenated blood enter into the atriums and then aorta. Okay, so this process is going on. What happened in after delivery, immediate delivery, what happened, they are cutting the umbilical cord. So what happened, there is no oxygenated blood in the placenta or umbilical veins. What happened, lungs has to, the oxygenation must be taken place in the infant's lungs should be taken. Okay, it is happening normally. Okay, when baby after delivery itself, as the lung expanded with the air, the pulmonary artery pressure decrease and circulation to the lungs is increased. So the pulmonary artery pressure is decreased, the circulation to the lungs is increased. So that is the happening after birth. And structural changes also is there. Okay, structural changes, what are the structural changes is present after the birth is means ductus venous. Here the after the umbilical cord is served, the following through the ductus venous decrease the eventually cesses, and it consist within 3 to 7 days. Okay, that is about the ductus venous. Because of clamping the umbilical vein, ductus venous, what happen means decreasing of the circulation will be there, and it is constricts within 3 to 7 days. So after delivery, the umbilical clamp, umbilical whatever the external part of the umbilical cord, automatically 3 to 7 days it is wipe up. Okay, it is peeled out. Okay, that is happening because of this ductus venous. Okay, cessation. Okay, and constriction, because of that it also externally it is removed, that is ductus venous. And next one is foramen ovum. The functional closure of this valve like open occurs when the pressure in the left atrium exceeds pressure in the right. So the closure occurs within the first week after the birth. So this foramen ovum is a temporary opening during the internatal period. Once baby is taking the first breath, the atriums and the lungs is expanded. When the pressure is high in the lungs, automatically this foramen ovum is closed. That valve should be closed. That is normally happening in the first week of the birth. But in some cases, some conditions, what happened, this foramen ovum was not closed properly, so some defects also is there. Okay, this is the functions of the foramen ovum. Okay, this is fetal circulation, I explained about priorly. Here this here the foramen ovum is there. Okay, oval of the foramen, this one. Okay, this is the ductus venous. Here the ductus arterius, descending aorta is there. Here the pulmonary artery. Here this is pulmonary veins. Okay, lungs, aorta. This is right atrium. This is left atrium. This is right ventricle. This is left ventricle. Okay, this is about the fetal circulation. Okay, next one is ductus arteriosus. Here the increase in the aortic blood flow, increased aortic pressure and decreased right to left shunt through the ductus arteriosus. The function closure occurs when this constricts cause the cessation of blood flow, usually 24 hours after the birth. Atomic closure by 1 to 3 weeks after the delivery. That is about the ductus arteriosus. Here the ductus arteriosus. Here the within 1 to 3 weeks after delivery, automatically this ductus arteriosus will be closed. Okay, this is the foramen ovum. Okay, next one is abnormal circulation pattern after the birth. Okay, what abnormal circulation patterns after the birth is going on means the normal blood flow may be disrupted as a result of abnormal opening between the pulmonary and then systemic circulation. Anytime there is a defect, blood will go from the high to low pressure. So here the shuntings will be there. The shunting, next, the normal pressure is higher in the systemic circulation, so blood will be shunted from the systemic to pulmonary. So here the shunting, abnormal shuntings also is present. And next one is left to right shunt. Here the left to right shunt means with an obstruction to the pulmonary blood flow and valve as an opening between the ventricles, and blood flow may be right to the left shunt. So here the left to right shunt means the pulmonary flow, and then right to left shunt means here the ventricles shunt. Okay, here the some symptoms is present with this left to right shunt and right to left shunt. Okay, here the child is suffered with the feeding problems, fatigue, irritability, trachypnea, profuse sweating, reflex, and then failure to thrive, pure weight gain also is there. Okay, look at this picture. Child is having failure to thrive and then unable to take the feedings and fatigue, irritability, tachypnea, profuse sweating, and everything is there. Okay, these are the symptoms is present with the left to right shunt and right to left shunt. Okay, next one is respiratory difficulties. What are the respiratory difficulties present for this baby's congenital heart disease babies are tachypnea, difficulty breathing, frequent respiratory infections, a period of anoxia, nasal flarings, retractions, some associated problems with the respiratory. Okay, what are the symptoms may be present with these conditions means activity intolerance, restlessness, lethargy, color changes, pallor, cyanosis, bulging of the digits present. Okay, and then next one is hematologic condition, that is child is suffered with the polycythemia, and then organ enlargement, that is mostly we will see in the liver and then spleen and then heart. Okay, organ enlargement is there. These are the symptoms whether child is suffered with the respiratory difficulties. And coming to the diagnostic evaluations for the whole congenital heart diseases. First one, check about the x-rays, cardiofluoroscopy. Look at this image, that is a cardiac fluoroscopy image. Okay, and next one is electrocardiogram and cardiogram, that is a 2D echo and then everything they are doing, and electrocardiograms, and then echocardiograms and electrocardiograms, and hematologic testings, cardiac catheterization. These are the diagnostic evaluations for evaluation of the congenital heart diseases. Okay, and next one is cardiac catheterization. This is very very important to rule out the conditions. Catheter into the right side of the heart, since septal defect permits entry into the left side. Okay, the nursing care and pre-test should be done. Then preparation teaching done on the child's developmental level, administer the medications as if doctors is given orders. Okay, before doing of any procedure you should do, you should take proper concern about from their parents, and then preparation for teaching, and explain about the prognosis of the conditions. Okay, this is about the diagnostic evaluations. And check extreme distal to the catheterization site for the color, temperature, capillary refilling. Keep extremity distal to the catheterization site extended. Check pressure, dressing over site of bulging, and monitor heart rate for bradycardia, tachycardia, and dysrhythmiasis, and monitor for the temperature evaluation due to physiological dehydration, because child is under the nothing by mouth or orally, and constant media also is there, so some it indicates that child is slightly elevation of the temperature is there. Monitor urine output and then blood pressure. Okay, these are the management for the cardiac catheterization. Okay, this is about